So Tyler with Taakes Dairy here. So I've been in a lot of dairies in Europe, and your dairy seems like it looks like more like a European dairy than it does a U.S. dairy. But tell me a little bit about your barn design here and why you chose the stalls
Yeah.
that you chose and the bedding that you did.
Right. So in our old barn, we had sand bedding and just metal dividers, and the metal dividers seem to be a little bit rough on the cows. You know, when they get up, they kind of bang against them. It's a little. I mean, they managed, but you know, with these dividers, they're flexible, so when they get up, you know, they don't get banged up by them. And then the beds, we just decided to get away from the sand because sand's very corrosive and abrasive to all the equipment that we have. So we kind of just wanted to get rid of that. And then having the milking robots too, they said the sand can kind of take a toll on them a little bit more too. There are barns that do have sand, robotic barns that do have sand. So we just decided to get away from that. But as far as the layout goes, we wanted to utilize the robots in as many ways as possible, the milking robots. And so we wanted access on all sides of the barn. So we have a separation pen over here for fresh cows and sick cows, just cows that might not be feeling good. We can kind of get them away from the main herd, and they can still have access from the back side of the robot if we keep the gates open for them. So that was kind of a nice. And then obviously the main herd can have their free go at the robots too. And then just having a feed alley on both sides kind of keeps cows crossing back and forth in front of the robots. You know, as it dumps feed on one side, they'll eat it up, and then that thing might go mix feed up for the other side. And so they're just crossing back and forth in front of the robots a lot. There's a lot of foot traffic in front of there to basically set up the cows' staff opportunity to the robot to get milk and get their treat. So, well, my sister entered us into a contest. That was kind of the biggest push. Lately was having a Way to Dairy Award contest, and she wrote up an essay for that contest, and we got down to the final four. I think, I can't remember what it was, and then they chose us as the winner. I'm sorry, the winner last December. Maybe it was December before. I guess it was December 4th. This last one, and so because we won that gave us some prize money to get some equipment from them, and then we just decided to go all in and get more equipment from them. We just like the idea of the freedom that the robots kind of give you. We still haven't reached our full potential with everything out here. I still see a lot of potential, but just the fact of having more flexibility, really, not that 12 or 10 and 10 milking times or 12-hour apart milking times. Just being able to kind of get everything check. You check all your list of daily tasks off, and you hope that keeps everything maintained to the point where you won't get a phone call in the middle of the night or anything like that. So just the freedom to have a little more flexibility. That's kind of why we went towards that. Believe it or not, they're not 100% perfect technology. They do a really good job, but there are things that do go wrong in maintenance that you have to keep on top of, like preventative maintenance. There's ropes in the milkers. I'm sure you'll get footage of that later. The ropes that hold the cups, we've had those break a few times. So when those breaks, the milking cup isn't operating right. And then on the MFR, there's actually both on the MFR and the collectors, there are these sensors. They're ultrasonic sensors, and if they get dirty, they can't really navigate around the barn, so they'll kind of stall out. So you got to be ready to go in there and clean off sensors. And then there's just a number of little things, just wear parts you gotta stay on top of. There's a rope in the feed kitchen for the feed grabber. When you guys go get a look at that, that rope broke one night. That was fun to try to fix for the first time. Now that I know how to do it, it's relatively easy. But just figuring out how to do it that first night was a little bit of a task. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was up until about 2 or 3 trying to figure that out. So. Vector is the actual wagon that drives around. It's called an MFR, which stands for Mobile Feeding Robot. And so that actually goes around the whole barn. You'll probably see it come here in a little bit. Okay. It drives around, it scans the feed height at the feed fence and pushes feed up. That gets nosed away from the feed fence, and then it goes back to a kitchen area where there's feed that's stocked up. And if the feed is below a certain height set at our computer, then it'll mix up a batch of feed that we've put together with a nutritionist, and it'll mix it together, come back out, drop it to the cows, scan other feed fences, push feed fences up. There's another heifer barn over here that it goes to for a different route, and so it does all. There's like 120 cows in this barn and another 50 over there in that barn.
So about how many batches does it make every day?
So for the milk cows, it drops about 8 or 9 batches, and then for the heifers and the close-up cows, maybe another 3 to 4.
So what do you see as the biggest benefits of the vector system?
Just having feed in front of the cows constantly is usually the biggest benefit we can see. The fact that it goes around and keeps pushing the feed up is huge, because as the cows eat, they nose through the feed and it gets it out of their reach. So as it pushes it up, it keeps it right in front of their faces.
So it looks like it moves at a slow. So if you're just looking right behind to the back there, you can see the vector actually moving through there with the front line of the cows there.
Yep. It's kind of slow when you're just watching it, but it's working 24/7, so it's longer than I work. We think we're coming out on top. There's a lot less time that I put into feeding the cows. I'm not on the tractor as much, so we're saving in diesel costs. I don't think we've actually sat down and crunched all the numbers exactly, but I think for sure that we're coming out on top as far as cost-wise. Just the fact that it keeps the cows fed. That's I don't know how you calculate that into, or keeping feed in front of the cows. I don't know how you calculate that into what our old setup was. So 3 collectors down there. I don't know if you can see them. There's one parked down there, and then kind of up further parked. And I think there's one out driving right now. So those are called collectors. They go out on programmed routes just automatically, and they'll suck up the manure in the manure alleys, and they'll come back to their dump station there, and they'll dump the manure in an underground pit, and from there it'll get pumped out into a bigger pit that's out west of the barn here.
So how many gallons are in each one of the collectors?
I'm not sure.
Looks like a pretty small one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many gallons there are in each collector.
50 something maybe?
Yeah, something like that. It's not a huge, but they go out, I believe they go out at least 16 times a day. So their capacity doesn't have to be huge, because they're going out getting small batches of manure every time.
Okay.
And then they come back and charge in the meantime for about an hour each time. So.
Okay, appreciate that, Tyler. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm the Director of Operations over at the Creamery. We've just celebrated 5 years of being open, and so what we do at the Creamery is we take the milk from our family farm and we turn it into different dairy products. We're known for our fresh cheese curds, aged cheddar, ice cream, butter, and I guess probably one of the more popular items is our chocolate milk. It's really whole and rich. But we started the Creamery as a way to get all of our family members involved in the operation. It adds value back to the raw milk that we take off of our family farm, and it's just a really cool way for us to educate and teach consumers about dairy products and local dairy industry.
What made you get into the ice cream business?
Yeah, I think ice cream is one of those products that you consume no matter how you're feeling. I always say, if you're sad, you go to ice cream to fix it. If you're happy, you celebrate with ice cream. It's just one of those products that I think no matter where nutrition takes us and what's the next fad, ice cream is just one of those celebratory, make you feel good products, and I think it's always going to be a staple for us at our Creamery. Yeah, so this is definitely a family affair. My parents are Dan and Debbie, who the Creamery is named after. They're first generation dairy farmers, and they're the ones who really laid the foundation and the groundwork for our dairy farm. They were the ones who had the idea to start the Creamery. But my brothers and myself and even my sister were kind of the ones taking it to the next level and moving it forward. So my brother Dustin, he's primarily at the farm. He kind of oversees our new robotic milking barn, but you can also catch him bottling milk at the Creamery and then also out in the fields. Tyler, anything related to technology, that's his baby. He takes care of our vector feeding system and makes sure everything is functioning properly on the farm. My brother Riley, He's over at the Creamery full time. He does distribution, so you might catch him on our home delivery route or delivering to our wholesale grocery partners. And then my sister Tori, she kind of tag teams a lot with us. She helps with my children, and then she helps over at the store and in the production room as well. So we all have a little bit different role, but I think that's kind of what allows us to be successful, is we all have a little bit of a different role, different part that we play. And I think the reason that we've had success in 5 years is our passion to really just creating a sustainable way of dairy farming.